You have more show and tell?
Yes, he's got lots of show and tell.
Well, so you asked about the swords behind me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like this. I kept it hidden for a while. I'm like the biggest Game of Thrones nerd on the face of the planet, books and show. Like it's bad,
dude. Look. That's all fantasy stuff.
That makes me feel better. I got the
Such a
map of
nerd.
Westeros over there, and I got book version of Longclaw and movie version or show version of Longclaw, the sword. That's ice behind me. That was Robb Stark's sword. So I had a friend. I don't think I should say who it is, but if they're watching, thank you. They were talking to George Martin, some other people, and told them what a fan I am. And this person helped. They sent me a care package that had everything from swords to signed photo from Khaleesi that's signed. Which, by the way, my wife makes me take down for interviews because she's like, yeah, you're not going to have some...
Or the bedroom.
So it goes right behind me. That was the deal, was you can put it in your office, but you're taking it down for video interviews. So I'm like, whatever, I can do that.
Why is that on your nightstand?
It's not the naked one.
No, I know, right? It's tasteful. It's art.
Those are other ones. The other ones.
Okay, the mother of dragons, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, my wife was into the show for one season, and then at the end of season 1, when Khaleesi's nursing the dragon, she's like, I'm out. I'm done. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm into that. So I got a bunch of signed stuff from George Martin and all that. So I found, I never got to meet Vince Flynn, right? One of the biggest regrets of my life. And once David Brown found out like what a big fan I am, I got this. And I got this, which, David, if you're watching, is framed. And it says, Ryan, since you never got the chance to go to a Vince Flynn book signing, enjoy. And I guess Vince signed like X amount of copies. And this is from like the last batch that he signed. And they were, kept at Simon & Schuster. And he sent me one. So that's pretty special.
That's really special.
No kidding.
I have a lot of like rare, books, and people send me signed books all the time, right? So these are, again, just meaningful ones to me. But so Daniel Silva, I think the world of him and his wife, Jamie Gangle. And it was actually embarrassing because someone asked me on Twitter, they're like, well, who do you have, signed books from that you really like? And I was like, I don't want to answer that, So someone else followed up with a great question. They said, who do you not have a signed book from that you wish you did? And I purposely didn't tag him because I thought it'd be embarrassing. But I was like, well, Daniel Silva,
I remember that tweet.
Yeah. So I immediately got a text that was like, why didn't you just tell us?
No.
This one is personalized. To Ryan, thank you for everything. All best wishes, Daniel Silva. That one I like. When Mitchell was born, he's going to be 3 on 10/11. Thank you. You guys made me run down. I didn't mean for it to become like the sweepstakes of like, what would the baby book be? But I put it on Twitter, and it was sort of a joke. Like, I need a good book to take with me to the hospital, because I've done this a couple of times with my wife, and she's in labor forever every time. So, I'm like, and by the way, people got the wrong idea. They're like, Ryan, if you're reading, your wife's going to divorce you. And I'm like, you have no idea. My wife is like, get the hell out of my face and go read, right?
Yeah.
I got this. And there's like 18 nurses in there. If it comes down to me needing to play a big role in that delivery, we got a serious problem, okay? So I'm sitting in the corner reading. And so it turned into this thing of like, publishers actually rushed me copies of books because they wanted it to be like the baby book that I took. Instead of taking any of those, which I felt really bad about, I took a very early cut of Mark Graney's Agent in Place. And they actually didn't have galleys yet, so they bound the manuscript and sent it. But then like a year later, Mark heard that story, so we got a book, and it says, for Melissa, Ryan, and Mitchell, all the best to you guys. So he knew this was our baby book for Mitch. That was super nice of him.
Dude.
My buddy Brad Meltzer, so this guy right here. So my son Ryan Jr., he's autistic, and he's super smart. And he's 9 now, but he just recently learned to read. He really struggled, and for a while, doctors were like, he might not read. But he conquered reading. Now he's like such a bookworm. So once he got diagnosed, like with any parent, like obviously, autism is not like it's not your kid's going to be fine. But for any dad or mom, it's not what you want to hear. It's not like you're not going to celebrate. You're like a little bummed out. And my wife is so much tougher than me. So I'm in the room and I'm like bawling my eyes out and I'm like, oh, this is rough. And the doctors are like, he's going to be just fine. And there was a few people that called and checked in and checked on me. Brad Meltzer was one of them. So he sent my son, I am Albert Einstein. And he wrote in it, which we didn't give to Junior till he could read. So very recently, for Ryan, stay curious like your amazing dad. I didn't even have to pay him to write that, by the way. He just did it.
Such a good
that
dude,
one's
man.
nice.
That guy's a good guy.
We loved him. He's just a genuine human.
Such a good egg.
So awesome, right? And then, so CJ Box, and here's a funny thing about this one. Okay, so CJ Box is my favorite living author. And when I agreed to help out with Thriller Fest this year, Kimberly Howe, who you guys know, she said, Ryan, we're going to do something awesome for you. We're going to make a dream come true. And I said, oh, okay. And she goes, we're going to put you with Chuck. And I said, who the hell's Chuck? And she sounded excited, so I felt like I should be excited, And I'm like, Chuck who? And she's like,
Wendig.
Chuck Box? And I'm like, Chuck Box? Who is Chuck Box? And then she's like, Ryan, CJ Box. And I'm like, holy crap. Okay. I didn't know he went by Chuck. He's CJ Box to me. Right. But he found out what a fan I was a few years ago. And I actually never talked to him about this, but he wrote me into a series in this book. And now I'm, there's like one book where I'm not there, and very suspiciously, I did not make Sheriff in the new one. You had him on, right? His new one, Long Range. The book before that, when the Sheriff is killed off, it said that Ryan and Justin Woods were running for Sheriff, and I was obviously pulling pretty hard for the Ryan Steck character. So I'm not even gonna lie. When I got Open Range, I'm like flipping through it to see that I get am I Sheriff? And no, I was not. So, so this one was special because when I first read it, I actually had pneumonia, and I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I was home and I couldn't breathe, and I'm sitting in a chair and I'm reading the book, and I got to my name and it like literally knocked the wind out of me because I'm such a fan that to see me interacting with Joe Pickett was like, whoa. Right. But then my next thought was, well, if it's not me, there's probably like some other Ryan Steck out there. I really hate that guy, but so I didn't know for sure that it was me till he sent me for Ryan. Beware, the Vicious Circle, Best CJ Box, and then there's a little asterisk, the Deputy Sheriff.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that proved it. So look, those are a few of my favorites. I'm blessed to have a lot of stuff. I got people send me knives, that their characters use in the books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those are my favorites.
Right. Man, that's tremendous.
Sweet. Well,
you're surrounded by some great people, that's for sure. So I think they appreciate what you do for them too. So it's
well, look, man, I've been blessed for sure. It's a fun ride. You guys are doing a great
job. We feel the same way about what we're doing. Yeah. Absolutely. Like if nothing else, we have got to hang out with some of our literary heroes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what'd you say, Sean? You broke up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I say it's work, but it's genuine pleasure to do what we do. It's like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Right.
I can't imagine somebody complaining about what we're doing, and we do. We do put some hours in, but we love books. We love authors. We get to sit and talk to the most interesting people in our genre, and what more could you ask for?
You've had some big guests, too, right away. Before you guys even were like super established. You had
Jack Carr, day one.
Yeah.
Right.
Sal Mills, day two.
Yeah.
Sal Mills, day two. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys: Are your wives impressed?
No.
Mine is.
Shut up.
Mine knows that, like, when she looks at my bookshelf and she's like, "Oh, you've had him, and you've had him, and you've had him, and you've had her, and you've had him."
You can stop. You're just rubbing our faces in it at this point. Like, listen here, Mr. Nice, supportive wife who gets what you do.
But I mean, keep in mind, Ryan, I had a really, you don't know a lot about my history, but like I had a near miss of two really big near misses as a screenwriter. Right? Like the kind of things that had the writer's strike not happen when it did, I would have had a TV show. Had one executive at Fox not passed on a project, I would have had a massive budgeted action movie that I was not involved just as a screenwriter, but as a producer. So we've been down the road of missed it by that much a couple times. And she sees this as different. First of all, the community is different. In screenwriting, not many screenwriters have a bunch of screenwriter friends. It's not the same animal at all.
Yeah.
And so I think she just knows how much this means to me. And she's seen me go down that road where I was so close, and so it's different.
Yeah, well, when I published my book last year, she didn't even realize that it was actually being published until I actually opened up a box of a box of books sent from the publishing house, and she goes, "Oh, that's what you were working on. That's nice."
When I finished the first draft of my manuscript, and I said to my wife, "Hey, you want to read it?" She read like 4 pages and was like, "Why do you swear so much in there?" And I was like, "That's not me. That's the characters. How they talk, first of all."
Mouth.
And then she's like, "I heard you talk about it enough." And she was done. That was it. That was that was it.
And my kids are like, "Are you done recording yet? Because I want to do some video games with my friends."
Yeah.
Oh man, my kids are. I have one kid. My oldest daughter, Bryn, she's a huge bookworm, and she just started college to follow my footsteps, to go in. She wants to edit. She wants to, get in the publishing world.
Nice.
And so I begged her, just live at home. I'll pay for school, but you gotta live at home, because I'm terrified for her to leave. Then no one will care what I do. I get off the phone with like someone famous, or I wrap something up, and like I come down and my wife's like, "Great, go mow." And I'm like, "Did you hear what I said at all?" And she's like, "That's great. Did you see the yard?" And Bryn's like, "Dad, who'd you talk to?" And I'm like, I'll tell her who. She's like, "Oh, that's awesome. What was it like? What'd they say?" And I'm like, "Thank you. Those are the right reactions."
See?
So yeah, my wife couldn't care less.
Dude, my wife read my book, and she was like, "That wouldn't happen in the Secret Service. We wouldn't do that. That's not right." My wife, she's a Secret Service agent. She goes, "Yeah, it's great. It's good."
That's helpful.
Yeah.
That's good.
Support.
Thanks for weighing in after it was written, babe.
It wasn't a good story.
My 2 sons are both in college at Eastern Michigan, actually, in Ypsilanti. They're not huge readers, but Luke really enjoyed, oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, James Riordan or something like that. It's like young adult that have to do with mythology. Mm-hmm. So they really like those. They made a movie of some of them. And so when we had James Rollins on, and his last book has to do with, mythology.
Yeah.
I gave it to my son, and he tore through it. Then he bought a book the next day. So he's like on book number 3 or whatever since he started that. My other son, Noah's reading the Terminal List, and he's about to hit the point where he'll become a reader forever, I think.
Yeah. My kids, even my youngest kids, have all experienced all the Mitch Rapp books. So I read what I call the dad abridged version, where I omit a lot, and then I fill it in with my own type of
words.
Like I think my mom would refer to as like Christian swear words. I swap some of them out.
Gosh darn it.
You know what I mean? I'm making it like G or PG. And so my kids are like well versed in the Mitch Rapp saga. Like they all love it. Even my little kids. For whatever reason, I think it's because they see how much I love it. So they get, they're really into it. But my oldest daughter is now reading the series on her own. And she said, "Dad, you cut a lot out." And I said, yeah.
No, she's a critic.
And that's why your mother
did not have to know how to torture people at that age. Like it was not necessary. So,
yeah, my oldest, who just turned 15, has already read Terminal List, and he's now he's on. I turned him on because he wants to be a pilot, and so turned him on a Dale Brown's book that we so he's reading that right now. So yeah, I think we're creating little readers just from our interactions with the people that we love.
Well, and it's funny because like I've been kind of busting my boys' balls a little bit about stuff because like they haven't watched as many of our podcasts. As like they'll talk about, "Oh, I saw this podcast," and I'll just look at them like, "Really, you did? Did you see ours?" And so the other day my younger son watched the Dale Dye podcast.
That was a good one.
He was laughing so hard, so I might get him to watch some more after that. So
my kids, again, so like, not to harp on my wife, but ever since like I started blurbing books to be on the cover, my kids love to go into Barnes and Noble and find all the books with the real books by on it, and they have a lot of fun doing that. And my wife, she gets so relentless. She'll read a blurb and go, "Oh, did you really write that?" And I'm like, "Yes." this? What is? Yes, you know.
No, David Brown did.
Yeah, exactly. Right. David writes
Very
all my
humbling.
Yeah.
It's very humbling.
books. Yes,
She keeps him grounded.
But yeah, oh man, does she keep me grounded? Are you kidding me? Yeah. When I think the only time that she ever took any interest in a phone call with my agent, you know, he said, Ryan, you have a good thing going, just, you know, never get a big head. You know, Jack Carr came in and really, you know, tore the roof off this genre by being a fan. You know, it's okay. Embrace other writers, be a fan, stay who you are. And Melissa was like, don't worry. You know, like, I got this. His head will never swell.
Don't worry.
I could not be less of a big deal to her. Like, that's just, like, not even less. Seriously. So, yeah.
No, and don't get me wrong. My wife puts me in my place every time I need to be put in my place.
We all married very similar women.
You know, she's also enjoying this ride a little bit. And I know, and Chris, you joke, but your wife has comments on everything that we've done.
My wife is very supportive.
And Mike, your wife was the star of your Jack Carr video. So.
Which was awesome, by the way. Though I could get my wife to do that. Hey, honey, I'm going to shoot this quick promo. Can you act annoyed with me? She's like, done. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me get into that spot. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me.
What's my motivation? Yeah.
You're married to me.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it.
You know, the funny thing about that film festival is now it kind of raised the bar on what we have to do for like Kyle Mills and what we have to do for Mark Graney and what we have to do for Brad Thor. You know, it's like so now we're not gonna do a film festival for everybody, but we have to kind of up the thing. That kind of happened accidentally. It wasn't planned out that
Most
way.
of our major transitions into new stuff it was
awesome though.
Was by necessity and by accident, like simultaneous efforts.
Yeah.
And so we do have some extra plans coming down the pike for some of our favorites, including Kyle and things like that, because we have to one up our game because I think people.
Well, we want to too.
Of course.
But Mike, did you tell Ryan the story about the David Morrell or the who was the week before David Morrell?
Christine Carbo.
So, you know, we had done just intros, like whoever the host was would do an intro to the author. And then for Christine Carbo, I was hosting, and right after the show, which is when we normally record that, I had to go do something family related. I don't even know what it was at this point. So I left. Well, sometime the next morning, I didn't even think about the fact that I had to record the intro. And so I shaved, and I went from having a full beard to not having a beard.
Yeah.
And so I text Mike, and I'm like,
it's like 20 years.
Not happening.
So the three of us like got together. And we were like, okay, so I'll write a voiceover, and then we'll just find some images and stuff like that. And it was so much better than what we've been doing that we're like, okay, well, hey, now we got that. And then as we went further, Chris went from just doing images to adding videos. And then it became something like where we spend as much time and care or more on the intro that we do on the whole podcast. So
you guys do a great job. Like all joking aside, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. I've been telling Mike that from the very beginning.
Yeah.